AlphaTauri driver Pierre Gasly returned from Spain to shocking news that his Normandy home had been robbed while he raced, with the Frenchman losing expensive engraved watches, helmets, clothes and jewelry. In a social media post, Gasly said, "Some people are worthless, disrespectful and contemptible." He asks anyone with information to come forward. Toto Wolff has fueled speculation about his future in F1, with the Austrian admitting he is in discussions with Daimler chairman Ola Källenius on his involvement with the Mercedes team beyond 2020. Wolff, who is a 30% shareholder in Mercedes GP, in addition to being team boss and head of Mercedes-Benz Motorsport, says that he enjoys what he does and in working with people in the team, but that the role takes its toll, especially on his personal life. Two-time F1 world champion Fernando Alonso heads into this weekend's Indy 500 with his eyes on the prize, despite starting from 26th on the grid after struggles in qualifying, with the Spaniard confident he will have the race pace to be in contention. Alonso looked strong on the first day of practice at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, finishing 5th fastest at 223.238 miles per hour. But a crash on day 2 at turn 4 set him back on his quest for motorsport's unofficial Triple Crown, with 2020 his third attempt at the remaining IndyCar leg. Up front, it's Marco Andretti, the first of his Fast family to take the Indy pole for 33 years, since his grandfather, 1978 F1 world champion Mario.
I thought of him because today I walked out of the motorhome, it was pretty windy, and he said, he has a famous quote within us. He doesn't say it to many people, but he says, the wind will scare you, but it'll never crash you. So today, he was right.
Williams test driver Roy Nissany became just the second Israeli after his father Hanoch to pilot an F1 car during a Grand Prix weekend, when he replaced George Russell in Spain's opening practice last Friday. Mercedes' Valtteri Bottas topped FP1 ahead of his champion teammate Lewis Hamilton and Red Bull's Max Verstappen. Nissany finished in 20th, just over 3/10 behind Nicholas Latifi. The 25-year-old impressed Williams during last year's post-season test in Abu Dhabi, earning a test driver role for 2020 that was announced in Tel Aviv in January.
We have a lot of things to go over during the year with the FP1 sessions, which will give me a very, very good experience and feel of the car. A lot of engineering work in the factory in England, in Grove, and of course a lot of simulator days.
Nissany has 2 more opportunities to get on track this year with Williams, though the squad is yet to announce which events. Staying with Williams, which has yet to score a point this season, but there's no doubt that the squad has taken a step forward with the FW43. George Russell a regular Q2 contender, with 4 appearances in 6 races. And Deputy Team Principal Claire Williams praised the turnaround after 2 miserable years at the back of the grid in a chat with the Australian Grand Prix podcast In the Fast Lane.
We made assurances and promises that we would deliver improved performance this year, and I'm so happy that we've been able to do that. Obviously for everybody within the team that's put in so much hard work to achieve that milestone, but also for our fans.
Williams also highlighted Russell's contribution, especially in qualifying, where he significantly boosted the squad's morale.
Now that he does have a better car and he's able to qualify well, and my God, he's really qualifying brilliantly on a Saturday. He's giving everybody a real shot in the arm during qualifying within the team, but also on Sundays to have the kind of races that we're starting to enjoy now, converting that pace in qualifying.
Mercedes could be reined in from the next race in Belgium, with the FIA set to issue a new technical directive that will end the use of special qualifying engine modes for boosted performance. The Silver Arrows have ruled F1's turbo hybrid era with its party mode in qualifying, enabling it to turn up the wick in Q2 and Q3. its benefit thought to be up to 0.3 of a second, with pole position at all events so far in 2020, including Lewis Hamilton's 92nd in Spain. The new rule will force teams to use the same engine modes in qualifying and the race, potentially from Belgium onwards. It's understood that the new directive is aimed at helping the FIA to better police the regulations, with special modes making it difficult to know if the engine is being run within the rules, while some teams' modes could even be construed as driver aids. Lewis Hamilton, however, has poured cold water on the effect the change will have on Mercedes. It's obviously to slow us down, but I don't think it's going to get the result that they want, so that's totally fine if they do, he said. Sergio Perez was happy to be back with Racing Point in Spain, following his recovery from COVID-19, where his 10 points for 5th place helped him retain 8th in the drivers' standings. Just 8 points behind teammate Lance Stroll, despite 2 rounds out. But the Mexican was less happy with the media coverage during his time spent away, slamming reports that claimed he was doing anything other than safely visiting his mother, with some stating that he was there to meet sponsors to protect his drive into 2021 and beyond. I found it very unprofessional, those things, because it's a total lie, Perez said. I went to Mexico for 2 days to see my mom, with all the precautions in place. Mercedes was back in business in Spain, with Lewis Hamilton's dominant win in Barcelona proving the squad has made clear progress on its rear tire issues in hotter conditions. But the reigning world champions expect another test at the next race in Belgium.
Spa after Spain, that's another very high energy circuit where you can get blistering. So our focus in terms of performance is all about how can we get the tires cooler, how can we avoid this problem.
Mercedes' rear blistering issues made the 70th anniversary Grand Prix a damage limitation exercise, costing the Silver Arrows the pace needed to compete with Red Bull.
We were having to drive slowly to look after the tyres, and fundamentally, that was how they won the race. Regardless of start tyre, I think it would have been extremely difficult for us to win with those problems that we had.
Sochi is expecting up to 32,000 fans for next month's Russian Grand Prix, though F1 will continue to follow the FIA's strict coronavirus protocols, with the exception being spectators in the stands. Fans are also likely at Germany's Nürburgring, with big crowds set for Portugal's Portimao circuit in October. The sport is also considering a return to Turkey and Jerez in Spain, with Vietnam set to be cancelled. And while Russian event promoter Alexei Titov says that the event will be different, with a closed paddock and no pit walks or autograph sessions, an entertainment program is still being discussed. We have several ideas, the details of which we are now finalizing with Formula One, he said. F1 is planning for a more normal calendar next year with up to 22 races, despite admitting it doesn't have better visibility on the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic than anyone else. F1 chairman and CEO Chase Carey told Wall Street analysts earlier this month the sport is close to finalizing 2021, though it's prepared for further virus-related blowback with potential for a later start, one that would also help the teams recover, with this season likely to finish in mid-December. F1 will also be watching what other sports do in terms of opening up for fans, despite spectators expected at Grand Prix as early as next month. We'll obviously have a lot of sports ahead of us. What will the NBA, the NHL do if they get the next season going? What will the soccer leagues in Europe do as their seasons get going? Carey said. McLaren will continue to use Toyota Motorsport's wind tunnel in Cologne, Germany until at least 2022, with plans for its own on-site in England delayed a year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. McLaren had originally wanted its wind tunnel to be ready for mid-2021 to work on the new era car. But the virus's significant financial impact forced the British Mark to pause its infrastructure projects, meaning its Woking tunnel now won't be ready until mid-2022. We will miss out on that little bit of extra technology that you get with a brand new facility, said Technical Director James Key. So from an engineering point of view, it's a little bit of a shame. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.